public comment. So I'll open it up for public comment. Remember, 5 minutes each. Make sure everybody else has a turn to speak until you'd like to speak again. Another 5 minutes. Any comments? Sandy?
Did you ever find the voucher? Anybody? Anybody found the vouchers from last week? I heard that Mr. McCarthy from the electric company said that it's impossible to fix the electric in here unless you rewire the whole place. You know, Mr. Vanderberg, you did an excellent job last week on talking about workplace violence. But I think the gentleman that's sitting next to you, Mr. Novak, has some explaining to do as to why he followed the plow truck around, beeping the horn, making the plow truck driver stop, then going up and beating his hand on the front of the hood and yelling and swearing at the driver. And then the driver goes back to talk to Artie about it, and Artie has to confront Mr. Novak at his house. So he is the epitome of the workplace violence, and maybe he needs to be spoken to about that, because that's unacceptable behavior. Are you aware of that? So maybe he needs to be spoken to. So going back to the situation with the electric, the reason that Mr. McCarthy can't do it is because once you start doing anything major in a municipal building, it has to be done under municipal code. Once you start moving walls in here, you have to bring everything up to municipal code because this is a municipal building, which just is not going to work. You can paint, you can change the ceiling tiles, the floor tiles. So you need to start researching that because we will be in direct violation under the municipal code. This is considered a municipal building and they let us float on by without bringing it up to where it's supposed to be because we haven't made any changes. Once you start doing that, that's what has to be done. That's why Mr. McCarthy will not attempt to do anything with the electric here because he knows better than to do that. So you might want to start looking at that. And that's it for right now. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other comments? Motion to close public comment?
So moved.
I'll second.
Any discussion? All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? Moving on to my remarks. So we did begin to solicit quotes on various aspects of our basic repairs to the building. Are these all of them?
Yes, this is what I've been able to get.
Yeah.
Okay, there's for the painting. There's a couple of different quotes on heating.
How did we submit the quotes? Was it on paper?
I'm
No,
sorry.
we don't have to send it out to bid. We just have to gather quotes. Unless it goes over a certain amount.
We didn't even have to get quotes, it's deemed an emergency.
If it's an emergency, but it's not, so.
We're
A written quote is great.
Yep. We've got a few, I came up with a couple different quotes on the furnace, air conditioning. The furnaces that were quoted, one firm has quoted for different efficiency levels on the furnace. I feel in all fairness to the other estimator, the other gentleman that estimated the job, he wrote the estimate at a 95% efficient furnace. So I feel in all fairness, we definitely should keep them all at 95%. The few points that the percentages go up, the cost takes dramatic jumps.
The efficiency?
The efficiency, yes, is
Okay.
that, if you gain like, well, just for instance, if you look at a 95% efficient here, there's a number and it jumps. And then it just takes off pretty dramatically. 95% seems to be what everybody's kind of looking at
Okay.
and what
So
we're recommending.
basically, once we have 3 from each, the painting and the, heating and cooling, then we can, we already did the appropriation, so, we're okay to go. Obviously, the expense would be, approved as part of the abstract, but.
The painting, I was only able to get one on. The reason being, there's a lot of painters out there, as I had stated before. There's a lot that do it on the side, which have no insurance, and we just can't go there at all.
Okay,
I wouldn't feel at all safe doing that.
all right, want me to look into something?
Painters, yes,
Okay.
yes. I came up with one, but
Okay.
you had gotten one from another heating firm, correct?
Yeah, I have
Amsterdam?
one too, so
So
we
we've
can,
got
let's
three
put
of
them all
those.
together, yeah.
Okay. You
Well,
want
there's
us
three.
the other two?
No, I'll let you keep them, let's
Okay,
put
all right,
our heads
okay.
together.
Now, it's my understanding that this is not only heating, but we're gonna,
Yeah, air conditioning.
Air conditioning at the same time.
so
Yeah.
there you go.
So
Okay.
this room will be,
Comfortable, we can eliminate the 2 or 3 room air conditioners we have. This should make it much more comfortable for us. One contractor did recommend putting 2 8-inch runs down through this ceiling to make it more comfortable here in the summer at a additional cost of $400. I'm no heating air conditioning expert, so I don't know what to say.
So that will remove the window air conditioners,
Yes,
which will
security.
create a security issue. It will
Yep.
tighten up the security, that's good.
Mhm.
And our lighting and everything is okay, the handle, increase the voltage or whatever's gonna be done.
yeah, they're looking at that.
When they were in here, they were in the box. We were actually present here, and I was present with the other 2 gentlemen. I said, it's no problem.
And we do need to add a breaker.
Yeah,
Yes.
you're gonna add a breaker.
Sarah, just for clarification, do we have a letter from this Mr. McCarthy stating that our electric is no good?
No.
Okay, I just wanted to make sure.
We're not making any structural
Okay.
change within the
Well,
building.
no, and I wanted to clarify for the record that we did not receive anything that
There's no
says.
need.
Okay, that's all. Okay, and it's my understanding also, we are not depending on the renovation, but I'll talk about that because I have the full
Okay.
renovation information,
All right.
okay?
Our website went down this month. It was really frustrating to get it back up. There were several, different hoops to get through. I would recommend that we have somebody who's not me, to, someone we can just call and say, hey, the website's down, and then it's back up and everything works. So my, I did make a couple of calls, and the level, I don't wanna spend too much money on it. So, I need to do some more research for that.
Okay.
Do you mean one of us will become the quote webmaster unquote?
No, there's 2 levels. There's one of like Linda just handed me some changes, and that's really easy. And still technically, I don't think it should be me who does that, but I don't know of any other.
Are they gonna, I don't even know how this works anymore, but are they gonna use HTML language to?
No, our site runs off of WordPress. It's really,
Cool.
it's very basic.
Yeah.
But, so there's that level, just making the changes, and that was the idea, is that we get this and we can just make the changes directly. But then there's there's actually a problem, the website is down, there's some kind of technical issue. Ours was, the site expired, but then when it came back, it was only a few days that it had been expired, but when it came back, nothing was hooking up.
It was denuded.
And it was like trying to figure out at which level it wasn't hooking up. So, that kind of thing, it's not like we need it very often, but when we do, it was down for too long.
Yeah.
And it just, I don't know, I just wanna be able to call somebody and say, hey, make this work.
Is this,
Um,
do we also have a Montgomery County Palatine Town website that doesn't have much on it, or am I confused?
No, it
about
directs
that?
you to our website.
Okay.
It used to be
Did
a
they ever
standard.
get rid of that, Sarah?
Mhm.
The Montgomery County
Yeah,
website?
now if you want it, it says go to.
Go
Okay,
to us.
all
Oh,
right.
that's it, okay.
Yeah.
Because I've had people call me before and say they got it off the Montgomery County website, and I'm like, I
thought that was.
They did a
done.
standard
It
page
took
for
a
all the
while,
towns,
but-
and it was
Okay.
like disgusting,
I,
1980s.
I think it's absolutely a necessity that we have this for communications amongst us, and in case the public wants to see, that's fine, that's what it's for. So I think we absolutely need to maintain some sort of website for our communications.
Absolutely.
Where is the server that our website sits on? It's a.
It's cloud, I think, right?
Well, I know cloud, but is it connected to
It's
Gmail? or-
SiteGround. It's a SiteGround server. SiteGround, at this point, it was like the best deal at the time.
Oh,
At this point, I would have preferred it was on like another one, like DreamHost or GoDaddy. It's not,
oh, yeah.
but that's where it is right now.
During this period of time that we've had this, who's been paying the bill on this?
I always have been, and I still pay the email. But this last time around, I invoiced the town.
Okay, yeah, I feel you should be reimbursed, because it is, I feel a necessity for the communications. And I don't feel it's fair.
Yeah,
that-
I voucher.
Yep.
Yeah,
I still need to do my voucher for the email though.
well,
And once, the problem is, we have a part of the problem is, it got set up this way because the last town board wouldn't pay for it. And I was like, well, we need email, and we need a website, so I'm just gonna pay for it.
Mhm.
And then we don't have a credit card yet. We have a debit card. Linda has a debit card, and as part of our audit process, we learned that you really can't have a debit card. You have to have a credit card.
Oh.
So we're
Okay.
getting rid of the debit cards and getting credit cards. Do you know anything about this already?
Yeah, the
Okay.
audit team told me about it.
Yeah,
Just-
so we're getting rid of the debit cards, getting the credit cards, and that will help too, because for this kind of thing, you need to have a monthly, you know, it's not like they send you an invoice and you write a check.
Mhm.
You have to have a monthly credit card, so I just have we just use one.
I feel you should be reimbursed for those expenses.
Okay.
That's my
absolutely,
feeling on
because,
that.
look, we need the email and the communications policy, because when we didn't have it, look what happened.
Yeah, we
We
need to
got
have
sued.
it. We
Okay, so
absolutely have to
having
have
this
it.
is important, okay? And communicating through it is even more important,
Yes,
okay? So, because it creates records, which is fine, that's what we need.
Yeah, yeah.
So whatever it costs, we gotta have, it's a cost of
part
doing
of doing
business.
business, I guess.
You gotta do
That's
it.
how I'll put it.
I know the guy that I have to work on my computer, he's an administrator of some of the local websites for I think he's one for the town of Mendon, maybe, I'm not 100%.
Okay. Will you send me his contact info?
Yep.
Great.
Speaking of records, I just wanted to bring up, we have our town camera, whatever, video, but it's not available on the website, or, because I believe somebody tried to foil it and it wasn't available.
It's available as a foil. Linda can give it to him anytime. It's just that it can't go on the website, it's too large.
It's too large, is what I was
But once
told.
we have an administrator, they may be able to help us,
Yeah, maybe
Maybe.
somebody could help us with that, I don't know.
help us with that. Because our ultimate goal is to make it available.
Oh, yeah, that is.
Because it
the
is
goal.
an official record, but it is foilable if
Yeah,
anyone wanted it.
I've looked at, it may be pretty expensive to have it, like that requires a level of,
Storage?
storage.
Storage,
that's-
okay.
But, you know, it's definitely, anybody could foil it at any time.
Mm-hmm.
Linda, that's
I
the
have
found
it right
nothing.
here.
Yeah.
That's it for my remarks. Anybody else?
I just want to make the announcement that next month we'll have the paperwork to begin initiating ethics law revision, should we choose to vote for that.
Okay.
And that next month we'll be able to ask for a public hearing in order for the public to weigh in on that issue.
Great.
Actually, it's almost finished, believe it or not, at Greg Gunn's office now. Good side down.
Believe it.
Yes.
Okay.
Go ahead, man.
All right, thank you. As I said I would do, I took the 2 contracts, the 2 checks to St. Johnsville. I got Mrs. Crozier, their clerk treasurer, up there to sign that she had received I'd like to just hand this over to someone for part of the record in case there's an issue. And if anybody ever gets the chance to go into their village hall and look at the craftsmanship and the woodwork and how they've laid that out, it's worth the trip. I was really impressed. And I asked Mrs. Crozier, and she was kind enough to give me a tour of the area. And it's just unbelievable what craftsmen in days gone by were capable of. And the next thing I've got, cemetery mowing. I've been in touch with Alternatives to Incarceration once again, Janine. They've agreed that they will take care of the two cemeteries, the Nelliston and the Carmen Court. That's all set to go. Again, ATI is handling that. Should we start looking for, concerning the town hall, mowing and cleaning? Should we be looking for people that are interested once again, or do we need to re-solicit, or nothing? Absolutely nothing. I'm just saying, it's about this time of the year that we got them, you know.
Oh, it's just been a year.
It's been about a year. I can't tell you exact date, but it's close. Do we need to advertise?
Well, I haven't been able to call him in here to clean because of the auditors being here, because they take everything out of this.
Yes, I understand.
And so I mopped the floor once when it was so filthy.
Okay, thank you.
But I will have them, if it's all right, I assumed once the auditors are done, I can call them and have them come in and clean again. I
Okay.
didn't know that.
And you can also
No,
tell the
we're not having
auditors-
any trouble with,
Yeah, you can tell the auditors, look, we gotta have the place clean, so, you know, and tell them not to come in later that day, or, you know, just pick the day, pick the time that we need it cleaned, and tell them that's where
Oh,
we're
all right,
going.
okay.
no, we're not having any problems that I'm aware of with Mrs. M's.
Yeah.
I just wondered if we needed to solicit once again, or continue forward with Mrs. M's, or how we want to handle it.
We can just continue if there's no problem with it, unless,
It's nice that you got it, so.
I don't see no problem with it, but I didn't know how the board would choose to handle that matter. That's why I mentioned it.
did we do a contract for that?
No, we didn't do a contract.
No.
Yeah, no, we can just continue.
Okay, all right. If you like, I'll check with Brian to make sure everything is good.
Great,
I will do that.
thank you.
And we went over the estimates. And, you know, another thing we should look at is the roof here.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's,
The last guy that worked on it, he came in and he said that, he asked if we had done anything to it, and I said no, and he says, well, it should be, had a maintenance thing done on it. He did tell me that about a month ago,
okay.
and that was Jeff Rostowski that did it.